Hi, this is Ruth from Yoga Well. Welcome to our Yoga with Chair practice today with a focus on the pelvis area and the hips. But we'll be working through various parts of the body. So this is your personal home practice. There isn't anyone there with you to give you and offer extra guidance. So practice safely. Feel free to eliminate some of the work that is on offer. Okay, so know your body, never experiencing any pain, and exploring your range of movement through the practice. Primarily it's a seated practice. There's some standing work and some work to the floor on option. Always you have that choice to stay working to chair instead. So again, modify and adapt the practice to meet your requirements and preferences. Make sure that your chair is a non-skid, non-slip, sturdy chair, and that the floor surface you're working with isn't slippery as well. The last thing to say is props. I like to have, for the seated work, I use a yoga block underneath my feet so that my thighs aren't pressing down into the chair seat. So it really just depends on your height. You could use a book, any firm surface. And I hope you enjoy it. So let's start with a comfortable, easy stretch, as though you're waking up, taking that morning stretch. And then imagine you're taking a big, nice yawn, working through the face. It might even invoke a real yawn. And really work and spread those features of the face out. So funny faces. This is your home practice. Go for it. And maybe you're continuing to work through stretching and making some faces. And just notice how it feels as you start to wake up your body gently, moving through those fingers, working the muscles of the face, and then release that down. And pause here. Notice whether you can feel some tingling, some sensation just from those few movements. Steady inhale. And steady exhale. Start to notice your breath, keeping it comfortable. Notice your inhale through the nose if that's accessible. And that exhale through the nose. So breath in and out through the nose, if it's clear enough to do so. Never feeling that you're needing to grab for air. So if you ever feel the breath strain as you aim to control it, just return to natural breath. Focusing on steady inhale. Steady drishti gaze or even eyes closed here, and exhale. Start to take some gentle movement, maybe letting the head gently sway from side to side. And then you could add the shoulder line in. If hands are at the lap, maybe they're dropping to the sides of the body, relaxing the arms down. Chair sides can always be gripped for support, for stability. So from the neck moving down that upper back, that gentle sway from side to side, relaxing through the face and through the jaw. And then maybe adding the arms in, if that feels okay. No right movement here, just a sense of fluidity with that gentle sideways motion. Through the neck, through the spine, letting the arms join in. And then slowing that movement down. We're going to start to work the spine in the other direction. Hands resting mid-thigh. Be aware, drop awareness down into that pelvic bowl, that pelvic space. We have the front of the pelvis, the back of the pelvis. Next time you inhale, see as belly expands, if you can feel that the front of the pelvis starts to sink down, dropping a little down towards the front of the seat. And as you exhale, can you feel the front of the pelvis starting to draw up away from the seat towards navel? So inhale, front of the pelvis rocks and dips forward. Feel what happens through the low back. And as the front of the pelvis starts to rise up, feel how the back of the pelvis starts to drop down and there's more space at the low back. Notice how the weight shifts through sit bones. It starts to roll a little forward. And then on that exhale, the weight rolls a little further back on those sit bones. If you think about that curved shape of the bottom of a rocking chair, it starts to rock forward as lungs fill, soft belly, front of pelvis dropping. And it starts to rock back through your exhale. Next, inhale, glide the hands closer towards the hips, elbows back, and feel the stretch across the ribs and the chest. And as you exhale, tucking that chin, rounding the back. Maybe you're scooted a little further forward to give space for that back. Inhale, forward. And exhale back. We'll give that sideways view so you can just see it from another angle as we rock forward, dropping the front of the pelvis, elbow line moves back. And then as we tuck that tailbone under, rocking to the back of the pelvis, fingertips towards the kneecaps. Take that again as you inhale and exhale. One more time. So I might keep changing my direction for the view for you, but you don't need to. You can just stay where you are unless I indicate otherwise. I'm just going to turn back to that front view. Let's work through those ankles now. So thigh bones well supported, resting that back towards your chair without that sense of slump. Feel the weight through those sit bones. Inhale, gentle lift up and lengthen through that spine. And then right leg, I'm doing opposite, reaches out. Foot away from floor, pointing through the toe as you inhale. And then flex through the ankle, the top of the foot, pulling towards you, towards shin bone. Inhale, toe line moves away, stretching across the top of the foot. Feel the calf muscle contract. Exhale, heel reaches away as the top of the foot moves towards you. Into circle, so as the toe points, start to rotate through that ankle joint. We're not moving the leg. Maybe you hold around that thigh area towards kneecap. Change the direction of those circles. And then we're just going to work part of the circle. So that top half of the circle is though you're painting a rainbow from one side to the other. Steady, smooth breath. You've got a good view of that movement. Just that top half around the periphery of that circle. And then take the bottom half of that circle. Notice how different it feels through that ankle joint. One more arc each way. Up to the top. And then the outside, so that right side of that circle. From top to bottom, final time. And then that inside edge of that circle. Last time. And then releasing that foot down. Pause here. Just notice how that foot ankle feels on that right side compared to left. Renew the support of your grounding as you inhale and find that extra lift and height through the spine, relaxing the shoulders, gazes ahead. Exhale, that left leg stretches out. Inhale, pointing the toes to stretch the top of the foot. Exhale, flexing through that ankle, reaching heel away, top of foot towards shin. Taking that a few more times as we inhale away. Exhale. Toe line towards you. One more time. Inhale, stretching toes away. Exhale, reaching heel away. And then start to take the circles. You may already notice that it feels different for you on this side. And then change the direction of those circles. Nice and slow. So you can feel all parts of the movement and the muscles through the foot, through the lower leg. And then we're going to start to arc that top half of circle. And then the bottom half of that circle. Trying to keep the leg completely still, just working through the ankle joint, through the foot. And then next time, come all the way up to the top and then work that left outer edge from top to bottom. Just notice what shape it feels you're making. It's probably not that much of a symmetrical shape. And then that inner edge from top to bottom. And that last time. And then releasing those feet down. Give those thighs a rub. The legs are heavy. You might have really felt that through those hip flexor muscles right up there. And then perching further forward in the chair seat. I'm going to get rid of my block now that I'm sat further forward. I don't need it. And we're going to wipe those knees open and closed. So think about where your feet are. A little bit of space between the feet and find that distance. Perch closer to the edge of the chair so the sit bones are grounded. Maybe the hands are gently holding onto the chair for some support. Finding that opening and that closing, pressing through those sit bones nice and tall and upright. Let's add breath. So the inhale is the opening and the exhale is the closing. Squeeze those inner knees together. Feel the inner thighs work. As you open, work the outer hip, outer thigh area if it's safe for you to do so. And again, that internal rotation if it's a safe movement. Let's add arms. So as the knees open, we open those cactus arms wide. And then as we exhale, knees come together, forearms come together. Squeeze that elbow line in if it reaches. Inhale, opening. Shoulders down, check they don't elevate. Squeezing through that exhale, knees and forearms come together. Feel the power in the muscles there. So you might find there's range available to you that you're not used to going to the end of. Can you squeeze those forearms together? One more time as we inhale. And final time as we exhale. Releasing down. Take a little movement through the neck. Release through those shoulders. We're going to do from seated something that later in our practice we'll be doing on the floor. So if you choose to stay seated, you'll come back to this option. I'm going to turn sideways on for the better view and actually turn my chair so you can see that you can rest your back up against the chair for this one. So with the back supported without that sense of slump. Steady inhale. And then as we exhale, I'm gliding one knee line forward, and that comes from the hips. And then as the breath changes, I glide the other forward. So my back can stay connected to the chair. And it's through that pelvis that I'm just reaching one side forward, and then the other side comes forward as the other moves back. So just that sliding action, which I'm mimicking with my hands, so you can see the action that's happening at the hips. We won't be using the hands in this way. And then slow that movement down. I'll turn back to face camera for the next bit of the movements. So arms lifting back up to that cactus position here. Joining me here as you inhale and exhale. Next inhale, left arm unmoving. Open the chest to the right side and that right arm moves to get out of the way and we gaze behind. In the exhale, we come back to that starting position. Left side inhale opens away, right is unmoving, we gaze behind, feel the twist. Exhale, coming back to center. Let's just take that once more to each side. Inhale to open, feel that rotation. We're going to be doing this later from lying down. Left side, inhale to open. And exhale to close. Releasing those arms down to the sides of the body. Slide shoulders up towards ears as you inhale. And glide them back down towards hips. One more time as we inhale. Elevate those shoulders a little higher. and then let them slide back down again. Scooting forward on your chair seat. We'll extend that right leg out ahead with the leg as straight as it's willing to go. And we're perched on that front edge of chair seat. Steady inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to tip forward, hands gripping the side of the chair. Lengthen through the spine, engage your low belly inward and upward. Use your buttock muscles too to lift you back up on your inhale. So we're moving into it with exhale. Keep that length through the spine and out of it with inhale. Take that twice more. I'll turn on that sideways view as you continue to exhale down. Rising through in-breath. And one more time. Exhale draws you into that hinging from the hips. Notice the movement through the pelvis. And then coming back up again. Bending that knee. Giving those thighs a little bit of a rub. And we'll take it to the other side. So that left leg now is extending out straight. We're perched at the front so we don't catch the muscles right up at the top of the thigh bone. And that opposite right foot planted down to the floor, tall on that inhale, and then hinging forward from the hips. So the leg bone is fixed. It's that pelvis that is rolling around to create that movement of the torso tipping forward. Inhale to come back up again. And this doesn't need to be a big movement. This is about what you feel. As we start to hinge from those hips and tip forward, we start to bring stretch into the back of that extended left leg. Keep length along the spine. So we aren't really aiming to change the relationship between the pelvis and the spine from when we're upright. We're rolling that pelvis around that fixed head of leg bone and aiming to keep that same relationship or nearly same relationship of the pelvis to the spine. And taking that final time. Coming upright, give those legs a little bit of a rub, and again, I'll just turn back to face to the front. Again, any support underneath the feet if that was removed and it's beneficial. We're going to work with those wrists. So bringing those forearms back up together. Connecting those forearms to each other. Palms as though they are glued together. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, let the fingertips of both hands start to point over to your right side. And notice how the left forearm glides up that right forearm. Keep them together. Keep palms together. Your inhale brings those wrists back to neutral, fingertips up. Check the shoulders are still down. Exhale, fingertips over to that left side and feel how that right forearm glides up along the left. Inhale to center. Take that again to each side. Elbows are lifted, shoulders are down. We're isolating movement through those wrist joints. One moving one way, one the other. Inhale to center. And that final time to the left. Keep palms glued. Can you keep forearms connected? Inhale to center. And then exhale. Slide and tuck those elbows in towards the sides of the body. Forearms more parallel to the line of your lap. Taking an inhale here. As you exhale, just the wrists move to point those fingertips up. And then inhale, fingertips pointing down. Again, I'll just quickly turn to the side so you can see the profile of that movement. Forearms unmoving, but we use the wrist to just take that pivot of fingertips starting to tilt upward. And then change of breath direction, fingertips pointing downward. Palms stay connected. One more time. Fingertips up. And then fingertips down. And then releasing those hands, shake those hands out. Roll through those fingers, roll through those wrists. A few shoulder shrugs, a few gentle turns of the head. And then comfortable in your seat. Maybe you're sliding a little further back if you were perched forward. Hands comfortably resting to the lap. Taking an inhale. Lengthen through the spine, including the neck. The weight of the head gently rises up. And then with that next exhale, the head turns and gazes to the right. Relax the shoulders down, relax the jaw. Inhale, head to center. Exhale to the left side. Center with inhale. Once more to each side. The exhale takes the head turning to the side. Feel the lungs filling, draws the head back to center. Shoulders relax, broad at the chest as the head turns to the left side. Inhale to center, lengthen through the neck. As this exhale draws the right ear over towards right shoulder, keep the sense of lengthening through the neck. And keep that sense of the weight of the head actively drawing up as you inhale the head to center. Lengthen through the neck as that left ear starts to drop over towards left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen through the neck, weight of the head upright. Again, to each side, the tilt of the head to the side, shoulders stay relaxed, nose and chin stays facing forward. Inhale, keep that lift through the vertebra of the neck, through both the exhale, tilting to that final left side, and actively lifting through the length of the neck as you bring that head back up to center. Chin tucks with the exhale, base of the skull lifts, and feel that you're trying to pull the weight of the head further back over the shoulders. And then inhale, chin line, lifting a little past that neutral, still with that active lift and extension through the neck. One more time, tucking that chin under through exhale. And lifting that chin line gently through inhale. Bringing it back to neutral through that exhale. We're going to work with a seated variation of tree pose. I'm going to just move my chair back slightly. Again, make sure this feels okay for your hips. We're perching once more to that front edge of chair seat. We'll start with right leg extended out as we did before. Maybe the knee joint is a little soft. Pressing through those sit bones, that grounded heel, grounded foot, nice and tall. And then that left knee starts to open out to the left side. Maybe it feels okay to start to let that left heel line lift a little higher up. So we're resting on the toes on the balls of the foot on that left side, externally rotation. Make sure that feels safe and okay for the hip, for the knee, for the ankle, for the feet. You could just leave it more gently, leaving the outside edge of the foot to the floor. Or maybe you're just walking that foot out, that abduction instead. That's a nice option too. Okay. But if we're here in that seated tree variation, we have the knee opening to the side with the external rotation through that left hip. We're tall, we're lifted upright. Press into those sit bones, perch to the front edge of the chair, no risk of falling off. Make sure there's nothing that's going to slip out from underneath you, feet, sit bones. And then if it feels okay, let that left arm open out to the side with palm upward. Connect thumb and first finger. Reach out through those other three fingers. Relax the shoulder down. If it feels safe to do so, you could reach out that opposite right arm. Again, thumb and first finger joined, upward palm, shoulders down. Feel the energy in that space above those open palms. Feel that energy from the sternum breastbone right out to fingertips, from sit bones all the way up to crown of head. The energy of that extended leg, that grounded heel, the opening external rotation on that left hip side. One final inhale here. Let the hands lower to grip the sides of the chair, lifting that left knee up, foot to the floor, bending the right knee, a little bit of gentle wiping through the knees, maybe some gentle rubbing. And then that externally rotated left foot, we're going to lift that knee joint, hugging around the shin bone just below knee joint, if that's accessible, or you could hug behind the thigh. Taking an inhale here. And then as you exhale, round the back, feel the weight move towards the tailbone, back of the pelvis drops down. And then as you inhale, come back up onto the center of those sit bones. Again, notice the movement through the pelvis. Front of the pelvis is moving towards navel, the back of the pelvis is dropping away, a posterior pelvic tilt. Inhale back to that more neutral pelvic alignment. And one more time as we exhale back. Inhale, coming upright. And then releasing that foot down. Taking an inhale here. And an exhale. We're going to take that to the other side. So left leg reaches out. We're still perched at the front of that chair seat. Tall and lifted upright. And then we start to explore that external rotation through that right side. Maybe the heel starts to lift up higher. So more of the sole of the foot releases from the floor. And it's the toes ball of the foot that's resting onto the floor. Or you could keep foot to the floor, walk that knee open to the side if that feels okay, getting an inner thigh stretch there. But otherwise in that position, side of the foot resting or lifting that heel. Pressing through sit bones, tall and upright, steady breath, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, soften across the eyes and across the forehead. If it's stable, that right arm could reach out with upward palm, thumb and first finger joining, last three fingers extended, shoulder gliding down. Power through that straight extended leg, a little softness through that right hip to create that external rotation if that's where you're going. If it feels stable and safe to do so, that opposite left arm could open out, upward palms, shoulders relaxing down, energy from that breastbone out the arms to fingertips. Sit bones drawing you upright, steady breath. Aware of the grounding through sit bones, through heel, through any part of that right foot. Steady inhale. Arms releasing with your exhale. Letting that right knee come back up, bending both knees, both feet to the floor. And then picking up that right leg that we just had knee open, holding across shin or behind the thigh. Taking an inhale nice and tall. And then as we rock towards the back of those sit bones, feel the rounding of the back, maybe a gentle stretch through the shoulder blades, chin is tucked. Inhale draws you back upright. And twice more as you exhale into that rounding. Inhale up to neutral. And one more time, exhale. And inhale. Releasing the foot down, perhaps sliding a little further back in your chair seat. Maybe support under those feet. Steady inhale. Scan through the body, maybe eyes are closed here as you exhale. Let the palms come together in the center of the chest as you inhale. And exhale, root down, feel the connection through feet, through sit bones. Sweep arms wide and comfortably high as the lungs fill. And then feel that the exhale draws those hands back down to heart space. Palms come up through that center line as lungs fill. Feel that lungs filling draws them skyward, opening out. And that exhale takes them wide and back to heart space. Pausing here for your inhale. And for your exhale. I'm going to turn sideways on the chair. You should be fine where you are to do our standing transfer. So the better view if you could see me from the side. We're going to work through different arm options, so decide where you want to be. So we pull the heel line in, so we have that back slope of the knee further away than that ankle joint is, perched towards the front of the chair seat. If you need to use the hands for support to lift up, that is always your option. Otherwise, the arms are lifting with inhale, ahead of us, parallel to floor. Push through the feet, engage your abdominal muscles, your thighs. Reach forward, parallel to the floor. Move the weight of the torso forward so the hips become light to lift up, and then we exhale, arms to the side. Arms rising back up ahead of us as we inhale. As the knees bend and we sink through the hips, fire up the thighs, the inner thighs, the buttock muscles, abdominals. Reach the weight forward, 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 so there's no sense of dropping into your seat. And then inhale, upright, exhale here. Second option, hands can stay to the hips as we inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, tipping forward. Notice that difference. You don't have the weight. We lift those sit bones up, and then we push through the feet to rise the rest of the way with inhale. Exhale here. Hands staying to the hips, or if that's too difficult, you could reach those arms out again. As we exhale, knees bend. They track parallel. Check those knees don't fall in and collapse into each other. The hinging forward, that belly coming close to the thighs like a forward fold, and then rising up through that inhale. And exhale here. More difficult still, like a ski jumper, is reaching those arms behind as we inhale. Exhale as we tip forward again, drawing the front body towards the thighs. It's a deep forward bend. Rising up and exhale here. And we will take that final sit as we inhale from standing. Knees bend, the arm option of your choice. Coming upright with inhale and exhale here. Any way you choose for your standing transfer, tall through inhale. We're going to stay standing this time. Exhale, tipping forward, lifting up through that inhale, and releasing down. So a safe space away from chair, away from anything else, as you take some gentle movements here. Soft knees, a wider stride, relax through the face. A gentle twist, relax those arms, let them feel loose, just dangling from the shoulder sockets. And the gaze gently follows. And then slow that movement down. We're now going to do our heel lifts standing behind that chair seat. So you have that chair for stability and support if you need it, because there'll be double heel lift, which is a balance, more of a challenging balance. So you've got that chair back. So make sure that chair is stable and sturdy and there's no danger of it tipping forward. Standing relatively close to that chair back is going to apply more vertical downward pressure, more stability through that chair if you're relying on it. Take no more support than you need from your chair. Okay? I'm going to turn away from my chair back so that you've got a better view unobstructed by that chair. Okay? But remember, you are working with that chair back just in front of you. Steady inhale and steady exhale. As you inhale, right heel, opposite left arm rises up, push through the foot. Can you feel that difference from standing, that extra weight? Exhale, heel lowers and arm lowers. Left heel and right arm. Feel how that knee bends, push through the foot. We've got that calf contraction. Exhale to lower down. Hands resting to the chair as you explore the double heel lift. And exhale, releasing down. You can move back to the alternates that we worked with, or as heels rise, maybe that left arm reaches forward and up, just one hand to the chair. Arm lowering back to that chair, back through that exhale. Both heels with that challenge of that right arm rising up, if you choose it. And that exhale, releasing down. 2 more breaths. If you're feeling very stable, you could try both arms lifting away as heels rise up. And coming back down through exhale. or you're working your opposite sides. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Again, still facing that chair back. I'll put it in place so you can see we're going to straddle those feet a little wider. Again, however feels safe and okay for your hips to work into a horse stance. Toes are outward of the line of the heels. You might even feel the buttock muscles here lighting up a little just with that position that we have the legs in relation to that pelvis. Steady inhale, feel that vertical lengthening through the spine. Keep the intention of the torso lifting up as we start to bend those knees, sinking down. You decide how low it feels okay to go. Push through the feet to rise back up again. Light support from the hands. Take what you need, but no more than you need. Exhale down. The chair back also provides a really nice reference point for what's happening to your torso as you start to sink down. So aiming to keep that torso nice and upright. And that is challenged by what is happening with tilt of pelvis. So we're aiming to keep that pelvis in more of that same position as when legs are straight, and when the knee bends, can we keep that pelvis front back tilt about level? Pushing and rising back up again. So feel how the leg bone moves here as we bend the knees, and that leg bone is what's moving in that hip socket joint. And we're aiming to not really move the pelvis relationship to the leg very much at all. One more time, sinking with that exhale and rising up with that inhale. Walking the feet closer together. You're going to have the chair to your side. So decide where that chair should be for the best view for where your camera angle is. I'm going to place it to the right side. Again, I'm mirroring, so it looks to you as though it's on the right side. So right hip is facing that chair back. Yeah. So the chair back is perpendicular to me facing forward. So take your time to find that configuration. Again, if it's on your opposite side, we'll be working the other side in a moment. So steady, smooth inhale. Weight in the standing leg that's closest to that chair back, right side in this configuration. Steady inhale. And then that outer left knee bends and the heel lifts. Power in standing leg, hug the hip in as you swing that left knee, outside leg knee out to the side, so far as it feels okay to do so. And then you could slide the foot closer in so you can feel the heel make contact with the inside of that standing right leg. If it feels more stable to keep it a little wider, then keep it a little wider. So we're just resting towards on the toes. If you want more challenge, you could lift the foot, clear it away from the floor. Steady inhale, light support from those right fingertips to chair back if you need it. And then bent knee side, the arm coming out to the side, slide the shoulders down, fingertips extended, upward facing palm. Steady inhale and steady exhale. Couple of breaths here. If you wanted to play with that other arm, that's fine, safe practice. Smooth inhale and smooth exhale. Work through the standing leg for that lift. Hug in the hip around the standing leg. Feel how the hips work very different, right side, left side. Next exhale, the arm lowers down. That bent left knee side, knee faces forward, we release it down. A little bit of clearance space away from the chair, any other obstacles, and soft knees, soft hips as we take a little movement through the hips. So as we take the other side, you're going to want to be faced to the other side of the chair, or simply move your chair to the other side of you, whatever works best. And we'll take that to the other side. Steady inhale in our Tadasana stance. Left hip now close to that back edge of the chair. Smooth inhale. And peeling that right heel away as we hug that left hip in. Work the muscles around that hip joint. Hand to hip as we swing and open that left knee out to the side so far as feels okay to do so. You could leave that foot hip distance apart, or as you push into your grounding taller and lifted through that left side, you could let that heel come in and feel the connection to the inside of that standing left leg. Steady inhale and steady exhale. And then on that right side, you could take the arm out to the side, left fingertips to that chair back for support. Thumb first, finger joins, palm upward on that extended right arm, fingertips stretching away, pushing through your grounding, lifting up. Feel the muscles through the torso that gently knit in, gently draw in to provide stability and support there. Standing leg check, you're not locking that knee joint out, a little softness there. And a final few breaths, you may choose to let that opposite arm extend out as well, or keep it to the chair if that's a safer option for you. Feel for where you take your support. Smooth breath, relaxing through the face and the jaw. Final inhale here. Arm or arms lowering with exhale. Knee faces forward. We release out. Again, a few easeful movements here. And then half fold to chair back. So as you face that chair back, hands framing towards the sides of that chair back. So you have those arms, shoulders wide. We can step the feet back, soft knees, and then the aim to bring that torso, that upper body more parallel to the floor. Tucking the chin, your gaze is down and the neck is long. And it's absolutely fine to do this where the hands are to the chair seat instead. So rather than the arms extended up higher, they're a bit lower down. And that can be a nice option too. You could even bend the elbows here. So if there's limitation in mobility through those shoulders, this is a great option in your half fold. Knees as soft as they need to be. Prioritize that length through the spine. Soften the front rib cage up into the body to bring that stretch and opening through the back. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Feel that the flesh of the sit bones is spreading wide. Steady inhale. And steady exhale. One more breath here as we inhale. And exhale. Stay present for the transition. Steady breath as you start to walk the feet closer in. Torso starts to lift and rise up. And then feet parallel, hip distance. Slide those hands towards that low back sacrum space. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Let them draw nearer to each other, and you may feel those elbows draw closer towards each other behind. Firm up the pelvic floor, low belly, buttock muscles. And as you inhale, lengthen and lift the ribs away from belly, low belly drawn in, chest rising up, shoulder blades hugging in. Neutral spine with your exhale, your gaze is ahead. So we're not throwing the head back. We're lengthening the front of the body, creating more distance between the front of the ribs and the navel, between that chest and the navel, chest aiming to point more skyward. So the head to gaze follows the movement. And one more time as we inhale, upper back arch, stable, lifting through the vertebra. And coming out of that with exhale. Take a few gentle rolls through the shoulders, some gentle turns of the head. So with the chair towards that top edge of your mat, chair seat facing in towards the length of the mat, so that if you are facing that chair seat, you have the length of the mat behind you. Okay, we're going to do some lunge step backs here. Again, everything is an option, so you don't need to do this, or you can just limit that range of movement. Soft knees, soft hips. Knees relatively close to that chair seat. Hands grip the sides of that chair seat for support. Lengthen through your inhale along the spine. Weight in the left foot, the right foot picks up and it reaches back behind. You could gaze and see those toes land. And then as you exhale, that back knee lowers. Check what happens with where the torso is facing. As the knee lowers down, my whole front body is now facing more towards that chair seat. And then pressing out, lifting that leg. Maybe the front foot creeps a little further forward towards that chair seat for a more vertical shin bone. And then as you exhale, back knee bends, engage the buttock muscles, start to lift that torso more upright. So we change that tilt of the pelvis more towards that neutral alignment. And then as we exhale, back leg straightens out and we have that diagonal line of torso. Let's take that again. As back knee bends, torso faces, front of body faces that chair back. And then as we exhale, we start to face down to the chair. Back foot steps forward on the inhale. Exhale here. Weight in right foot as we reach that left leg back now. Gaze to where it is. Position that front foot in line with hip. Knee stays bent. Back knee starts to bend as we sink the knee towards the floor, barely touching. Feel the buttock muscles light up. And then exhale. That diagonal line from the back heel right through the top of the head. As back knee bends, torso lifts upright, low belly inward and upward, buttock muscles working on that bent lowering knee side. And then exhale, leg straightens, we have that diagonal. Let's take that again as we inhale and exhale. Final time. And then stepping that foot a little closer. From here, we can just lower down onto the floor. You can get the chair off to the side of the mat. You won't need it for this next work that we're doing. So towards the start of the class, earlier in our practice, I mentioned that we would be doing some work to the floor that was similar to what we had done seated in the chair. We're going to do that now. So make your way down to the floor, lying on your side. Support for under the head so that that shoulder is being cleared as you lie on your side. Again, you could just stay seated in the chair if you prefer for this. And then we are stacking those legs. So knees are pulled up towards the hip line and the feet swing out towards the knee line. So you could imagine that you were seated on your chair that's now lying on its side. Okay? And the support under the head. So the neck stays in neutral alignment. Top arm can just rest to the side of the body. It doesn't matter which side you're starting this on. Okay? And then we're going to take that hip glide as we did in the chair. For the top leg slides, the thigh bone slides across that bottom thigh bone, and then it glides back again. So that top knee slides past the bottom knee, and then as we take it the other way, it moves back in the direction of hip. So this action's coming from the hip. You want to keep that top leg really relaxed and the lower leg. It can be nice with the lower leg to just place a blanket between the knee down to the ankle. So there's no bony bits that feel they're rubbing against each other. This isn't a big movement. So feel that exhale draws that top thigh forward and the inhale draws it back. Keep the leg nice and heavy. It's just that gliding action that comes through the pelvis. So that top side of the pelvis draws forward in direction of thigh bone.
And then it draws back away towards the space behind you. And just one more time as we glide forward and glide back. And then level off the knees, the hips, stacking them once more. Allowing the palms to meet, forearms resting towards each other, elbows are bent. As you inhale, we lift that top arm to get it out of the way as the chest starts to open skyward and we gaze towards that arm that's moved behind. The exhale brings us back to that starting position. So with the support under the head, make sure that some of it is behind you so the head doesn't fall off of any of that support as you open that chest skyward and you open that arm behind. And then the exhale coming back to that starting. Take that 3 more times. Work with your breath as you open through inhale. Feel the twist and then coming out of it with exhale. So chest opening. We're twisting through that torso. And coming back over. Final time. Take your time here to transition onto your back with the knees bent. Decide if the support under the head feels okay or whether it feels too high and you want to momentarily dispense with it. Steady inhale. And steady exhale. Just notice how it feels having worked one side. How does it feel through the hip, the spine, the arm, the shoulder, the neck? Now from here, you could simply roll onto your other side. I'm going to move to opposite end of the mat so I stay facing to camera, but you don't need to do that if you don't feel you need to be looking to see. So once more, as you put in the prop in place under the head, make sure there's a bit of space behind you. Elbows are bent. And to begin with, when we work the legs, we pull that knee line up towards the hip line and the feet swing out to be in line with the knees. And you may want to pad between the knees down to the ankle with a blanket. I like to rest the top arm along the hip so I can feel that action that's coming from here, from that hip pelvis space. Steady inhale. And then the top leg stays heavy as we glide it forward. The whole thigh bone moves along the line of that bottom thigh bone. And then we rock it back the other way. So that hip sit bone starts to move in the space behind us. Exhale, the whole of that thigh glides forward in direction of the knee, and then it glides back behind. And just notice, maybe it feels that the movement is freer on this side or that it felt a bit freer on the first side. It can be tricky to keep that top leg really heavy and relaxed. So check the foot isn't lifting. Really, the leg isn't doing anything. It's coming from that pelvis rocking. So that top side of that pelvis is dropping forward in direction of thigh bone and then gently dropping away behind. So finishing up the final few movements on this side. And maybe as you get involved in the movement, it feels that it's freeing up a little and that range increases. But it's never a big movement. So just starting to free up that sacral space, that link, that bridge between left and right side of pelvis. And then coming and stacking those top bottom thighs once more, letting the legs rest as we focus on the upper body. Elbows bent, palms meet, forearms stacked, chin slightly tucked. As you inhale, top arm lifts, gets out of the way as we open that chest. Chin stays gently tucked as we turn and gaze. Feel that stretch across the chest. And then as we exhale, gaze turns back as the arms return stacked. And 4 more times, work with your breath. Relax through the shoulders. Let the head be supported. And just notice where you're feeling it. The inhale takes that opening action. And the exhale takes the movement back. 2 more breaths. Let your breath guide the movement. The slower the breath, the more time for the movement. Final time. When you finish that final movement, take your time to once more transition to your back. Decide what level of support is best for beneath the head. Relax the arms, the knees are bent. Settle the shoulder blades to the floor. Let the arms rest. Knees are bent, soles of the feet to the floor. Chin slightly tucked, length at the back of the neck. Relax the belly. Soften through the pelvic floor. As you inhale, can you feel that gentle pelvic rock? As the belly fills, can you feel the front of the pelvis move a little down in direction of the pubic bone? And as the lungs empty, as the belly settles back in, can you feel the front of the pelvis rock downward towards navel? Pelvic floor muscles, can you feel them relax and soften, expanding outward as lungs fill? And gently pulling back in as lungs empty. One more inhale. And exhale. Relaxed breath. Take any final movements you wish to before settling into your pose of relaxation. You have a chair handy, so you might want to have the legs supported and lifted up onto that chair seat. You could have the legs lifted against a wall if you prefer. You could stretch the legs out. If you have anything to tuck under the knees, that can be nice. And again, we'll change the tilt of the pelvis. If the back feels pinchy in Shavasana with legs extended, even just that slight support, bend of the knees with something underneath them, some cushions, a bolster if you have it, can be very nice. Whatever height is beneficial for you under the head to keep that neck in neutral alignment. So take your time settling in whatever position you choose. So take your time settling into your chosen pose of relaxation, where you can find comfortable rest and stillness. It doesn't have to be on your back. You could be on your side. You could even be sitting. That's fine too. Soften the features of the face. Relax the jaw. Feel the head is supported and the neck can rest. Relax the shoulders. If you're resting to the floor, can you bring more of the shoulder blades in contact with the floor and invite the feel of heavy arms?
Soften the muscles through the back as though they're spreading out and covering more surface. Relax through the hip joints and feel the weight of the pelvis dropping down the soft flesh of buttocks. Invite the feel of heavy legs. Let go of any control over your breath and let it just find its own natural pace. But feel still how the wave is almost like, the breath is almost like a wave that moves through you. You might even notice some subtle movement through the pelvis as you inhale and exhale. You may even feel that gentle change in tone through pelvic floor. You're not needing to consciously do anything. You're just attentive to what is there. And as you rest, imagine now that you're walking along a seashore. You feel in full health. And it's a beautiful sunny day. The temperature feels just right. Warm sunshine with a gentle breeze. So walk along the beach and feel how your feet sink into the soft and dry sand. And smell the salty sea air. Listen to the sound of the waves coming into the shoreline. There are seabirds overhead, and you can hear their calls. As you watch the waves come into shore, notice how they melt into the sand. And walk towards the sea. And notice how now you're walking on firm, dry, damp sand. And there's a tide line where the seashells and the seaweed are drying in the sun. Notice how it's all piled up on that tide line. And there's pebbles and shells amongst the tangle of seaweed. Stand and look out to sea and feel how your feet sink a little into the wet sand. See the sunlight glinting on the water and the white foam on the waves. And notice the color of the water. Imagine now that all your worries, concerns are being taken out to sea on that tide. Just let them go, let them drift away from you. And just be with the feel of the sun on your body. Breathe in the fresh air. Here the elements are in balance. Earth, water, fire, and air. And they promote a sense of balance within you. They recharge your energy, physically and mentally. And they also bring a sense of calm and a sense of well-being. Let yourself fill with those sensations. And hold them with you as you turn and walk back up the beach, returning to the warm, soft sand.
And let that image now melt away from you. But keep with you that feeling of peacefulness, of inner balance. And then start to take some gentle awakening movements. Reconnect with energy and space around you as you wake up your hands and your feet. Gentle movement through the wrists, through the ankles. Feel that flowing, gentle, undulating movement as you gently awaken your breath too. Invite fuller, deeper, comfortable breath into the body, a greater exchange of air. Connect to the sounds in your space. Notice light levels even if eyes are still closed. So bigger movements, reawakening the limbs. Maybe you're hugging those legs in towards you now. Any comforting movements here. And if you're rolling to your side, support the head. Take your transition away from the floor towards seated. And then in that comfortable seat, we can close class together, starting with palms together at that heart space. With your next inhale, take those arms wide and skyward. Connect with energy around you. And then palms meet. Exhale, drawing hands down towards heart space. So feel the energy of lungs filling. Take those arms wide and skyward. And lungs emptying. Pull those hands back to your heart space. One more breath together. Thank you all for your practice. Namaste.